The richest man alive would trade a fortune to get 10 years back. He can't. No amount of money buys that. And right now, somewhere, a 30-year-old is giving those same 10 years away for free every single month. He tells himself he'll start later. No one tells you the truth about money. It can buy almost anything, except more time. Let me show you what that looks like through someone who could be you. And if you've ever told yourself, I'll start later, hit subscribe because this one's for you. It's the end of the month, and Ethan opens his banking app the way he always does, half hoping, half bracing. The number looks almost exactly like it did last month, and the month before that. He grabs his coffee, heads out the door, drives the same route to work he's driven for years, and somewhere in that quiet stretch of road, the same question shows up again. Where does it all go? He's not reckless. He pays his bills on time. He just tells himself the same thing he's told himself for years. He'll start investing once he's earning more, once things settle down, once there's actually something left over. To Ethan, waiting feels responsible, careful even. He sees himself as the guy who doesn't rush into anything. Because here's the thing about waiting for enough. It never actually arrives. Every year, Ethan tells himself the exact same story. Not enough saved up yet. The market looks shaky. Everyone online seems to disagree with everyone else. So why risk it now? Better to wait until next year. When things feel clearer. Then next year arrives, and something good happens. He gets a raise. For a moment, it feels like the year he finally starts. But the raise quietly turns into a nicer apartment, a few more takeout orders, a slightly better car. The number in his account grows a little, but somehow the gap never closes. He still feels like there's nothing left to invest with. So he opens a few tabs late one night. ETFs, index funds, Bitcoin. Within 20 minutes, he's read 4 different opinions telling him 4 different things, each one sounding just confident enough to cancel out the last. He closes the tabs the way he always does, a little more tired, no closer to an answer, and tells himself he'll figure it out later, when he understands it better. This happens at 28. It happens again at 29. Then 30. Then 31. Different year. Same story, same tabs, same quiet decision to wait one more time. It isn't laziness. It's a story that simply sounds reasonable enough to believe again and again, because waiting has never once felt dangerous to him. It's always felt safe. And every year, that story repeats. It's quietly sending Ethan a bill he can't see yet. There's no dramatic crash in Ethan's story. No single bad decision he can point to. What's actually happening is quieter than that and harder to see. Picture 2 co-workers, roughly the same age when they start out. One of them begins putting aside a small, ordinary amount every month at 25. Nothing impressive, just consistent. Then, 10 years later, at 35, she stops adding anything at all and simply lets what she's already invested sit, untouched, for the next 3 decades. The other coworker waits. He starts at 35, the same age she stopped, and to make up for the lost time, he puts in more than double what she ever did, every single month, for 30 straight years. This is just an illustrative example to help you understand the power of long-term compounding. Your actual results will depend on your income, expenses, returns, and investment choices. And yet, by the time they're both 65, the one who started earlier, who invested far less money overall, ends up with just as much, sometimes more. Not because she was smarter, not because she picked better investments, because she gave her money more years to grow. That's the entire difference. Time did the work that money couldn't. Ethan starts to understand something uncomfortable. Every year he waits isn't a pause he can undo later. It isn't money he can simply add back in when he's ready. It's a year of compounding that's gone permanently. You can always find more money. You can never buy back a year. But no one ever told Ethan the part that changes everything. Here's what almost nobody says out loud. The wealthiest people alive spend fortunes trying to buy back time. Private jets to save hours. Assistants to clear their calendars. Entire teams built just to hand them back a few more minutes in a day. But time only moves one direction. Even they can't reach back and reclaim the compounding they missed in their 20s. Their money can buy back a calendar. It can't buy back a decade. Which means Ethan has been thinking about his situation backwards. He always saw his lack of money as the problem, the reason he couldn't start yet. But compounding was never built to reward how much you start with. It rewards how long you let it run. A small amount invested at 30 grows for far longer, and often further than a much larger amount invested at 45. Which means the very thing Ethan thought disqualified him, being young and not having much, is actually the exact setup compounding is designed to reward. So the advice to invest once you have more money has it exactly backwards. It's precisely because you're young and don't have much that you're supposed to start small. That's the whole point. You let time carry the weight that money would otherwise have to carry. The less you have, the more that time matters, not the other way around. Every month, Ethan tells himself, not yet isn't a neutral pause. It's him spending the one currency that never comes back. Not his savings, not his paycheck, his time. And unlike money, there's no overtime shift that replaces it. No bonus that refunds it. Here's the part that should feel like relief, not pressure. Ethan doesn't need the perfect investment. He doesn't need a large amount of money. He doesn't even need certainty. He just needs to start the clock. That's it. That's the entire first move. Which means Ethan was never actually poor in what mattered most. He's been sitting on the one asset money can't purchase at any price. Decades of runway most people twice his age would trade almost anything to get back. The only real question left is whether he keeps giving it away for free, one more not yet at a time. So what does starting the clock actually look like when you're not rich? For Ethan, it was smaller than you'd think. So Ethan stops waiting for enough. Instead, he sets up something small, an amount so modest he barely notices it's gone. It moves out of his account automatically the same day his paycheck lands, before it ever has the chance to turn into a nicer dinner or a small upgrade he didn't really need. He doesn't chase the perfect fund or the smartest strategy. He picks something simple, something boring even, the kind of ordinary, diversified choice that isn't exciting enough to make headlines, but doesn't need to be. He also stops reading the endless disagreements online. He closes the tabs, closes the debate, and lets the one decision he's already made just keep running quietly in the background. A few months in, the number in his account still looks modest. Nothing dramatic, nothing he'd screenshot and post anywhere, but something underneath it has changed. He's no longer bleeding away years he can't get back. The clock is finally running in his favor instead of against him. For the first time, when he opens his banking app at the end of the month, there's no bracing, no dread, just a quiet kind of calm. Not because the number's big yet, but because he knows, for the first time, that he's not too late. Which brings us to the one truth no one says out loud. Money can buy back almost anything, a car, a house, even someone else's time, but it can never buy back a year of compounding. Once that year is gone, and the person with the least money often holds the most of that one priceless thing, years still ahead of them. So tell me in the comments, what age would you go back and tell yourself to start? And subscribe so the clock keeps working in your favor.